And how R-rated can I get? Is this like a heavy R?
You can swear, sure.
NC-17.
Oh, it's probably more like PG-13, really. What's the worst word we've ever used?
Fucking shit. I mean,
okay, fucking shit. That's about it. Oh, hey,
I'd say we're a soft R.
A soft R.
So and there's full frontal nudity. Okay.
I've read that's getting more and more common now. The streaming services are trying to get people into.
Yeah, they're doing guys all the time now.
Male nudity.
Yes.
Fine.
Whatever.
See, because years ago though there was a weather thing where the women would take their clothes off while they were.
That was like Russia, wasn't that Russia news or something?
Oh, that was back of course it was.
That's back when the Russians were fun.
Yeah.
Back in the Trollolo days.
That was post Trollolo.
Oh, was it post? Oh, see, everything went downhill in Russia after
I heard that Trollolo guy. Yeah. I heard he
was pushed out of a window, I think.
No, wasn't he? I heard he was doing some collaboration with an EDM band, whatever EDM means. Now let's talk about the music the kids are listening to. Well, we have a special guest today.
For episode 80, is this 89?
It will be if I get 88 out before this.
The narrator can fix it later, depending on which one we get out first.
Why do I always have to fix these things? This is episode 88, the Halloween edition with special guest Randy Grimley. Phil and John will talk with the guests and have a beverage, and then later on there'll be a song. So enjoy. Hello, this is Inquietantes. You are listening to Tandolin, and here's this song. This episode is very special. It is almost entirely raw, without edits. So sit back and get under your comfy comforters and put on your warm socks and maybe have a beverage. And think of me. Are you ready?
And we're going to use his full name because it's the Halloween edition, and his last name is Grimley, which
not
is
Grimley, but
no,
not like Ed Grimley.
Oh, yes.
No, I've heard that before.
Oh, sure. I bet. And his name is Ned. It's Randy, who I just found out was also a paper carrier in the old days.
Yes, I can still carry paper. I just don't do it for a living.
Did you have to collect too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hated that. I did that
long
too.
Before auto pay. I mean, we're talking, let's see, it was probably like 83 when I started until like 88, something like that.
I had this giant ring of cards or something that you'd carry around with you. And
yes.
Yeah,
yes, that must have been a standard issue.
Oh, it was horrible.
I didn't know you. If I knew you were a paper carrier also, John, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I did that very poorly for a few years.
Oh, I did it.
I took it over from one of the Ron brothers.
Wow.
Back when the paper was late afternoon during the week and early mornings on weekends.
Yeah. No,
that's how fucking old that is.
I used to get up before my alarm even on the weekend somehow.
And now people say, "What's a newspaper?"
You know, I don't mean to brag, but I kind of do, because this is a podcast, and I'll be able to have this be my infamous memory that lasts. I was newspaper carrier of the year through the Midwest.
Wow!
The entire Midwest.
I got a plaque. Yes, the Newspaper Association. They apparently all got together, and it was North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, and Minnesota. So that part of the Midwest, the real Midwest. And I was named the Carrier of the Year.
That must have been after I was.
I don't think we're worthy.
Well,
you guys didn't even know about it. It was so highbrow. It was just, I don't know. There was a parade. I don't know.
It was an East River thing. Are you from Brookings, South Dakota originally?
Yeah, let's back up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Who is he? We're just talking. Oh, God.
Oh, the listeners all know who he is. From the tone of his voice and his credentials as a newspaper carrier.
Yes.
Of the
Yeah.
year.
Of the year. For a whole year, I had the least complaints, like no complaints, and also the
Least
most positive
complaints.
call-ins. You know, the kid, I put the paper right where they wanted it. I was always on time. When it was raining, I'd put it in the little plastic bag. It was always rolled up in a rubber band. I was very polite when I would go
Wow.
door to door and collect all the funds
See,
each month.
You were hardcore.
I
Yes, Randy.
was serious. I wanted that job for like 3 years before I got it. In fact, I think I forced the previous carrier out, but that's another story.
Oh my.
I'm pretty sure when we had to settle up every month with the paper, I owed money because I didn't collect enough.
Oh, I remember having to go to some houses. Like I remember one of my memories was Police Squad just came out, the TV series, and I had to go collect. And I was like, oh, I got to get home in time for Police Squad. That's how old I am. But it was like the third episode or something. And I was running around because of course they were all scattered, the ones that owed. And there was always one guy that just always put me off until the bitter end. And I was like, he's not, I knocked on the door and, it's like, dude, well, let me see if I have the money. I just was like, I felt like saying, if I was a kid, but I didn't say it. I felt like saying, never mind, I got to go watch Police Squad. But I stood there and I missed, it's terrible. We didn't get into who Randy is. We need to start all over. Okay.
I'm learning a lot about you guys, though. That's great.
Well, I think that the listeners are already tired of learning about us. No, but
You think?
Randy, do you want to give a little I don't know, elevator speech or something about who you is?
Or an escalator speech.
Or
That one
backstairs.
slowly goes. Which one do you want to? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see here.
You could take.
I was born, and I lived. Still am at this point.
This is the paper route speech.
I became, yes. I didn't have to give a speech for that award. But I'm telling you, I worked my butt off. I was through, South Dakota winters. I was still at 3:30 or whatever, right after school, just getting it done. And so I got a plaque that had it all engraved on there from the Brookings Daily Register was the paper, which still is, but it's not daily anymore, or it never was then either. It was Monday through Friday. Anyway, and I did that for a while. But believe it or not, I didn't peak yet. I mean, that was just the start of something good.
There were master carriers.
Master carriers?
I think in Rapid City, Journal had master carriers that would train the carriers or something.
That sounds like you're a spreader of something. That's not good. Oh my God, here comes the master carrier. Put up your masks.
Yep.
I interrupted you. I apologize, but it'll happen again.
That's okay. I'll forget what I was saying, and that'll happen again too. Let's see. Born and raised in I'm an East River, South Dakota rat, and went through the local university, which you may or may not know. Phil and I actually sort of crossed paths during that time. That's how I first stumbled upon his genius.
Go Jacks.
Whoa.
Go Jacks. Did they say that then? That seems like that was a marketing thing that came up like 15 years ago. I don't think that was the thing.
Well, all of a sudden they have a bunch of money, it feels like.
Division I, baby.
It's a totally different school than when we went there, but whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, again, we left and everything kind of folded, but
somehow the money started rolling in after we were in theater.
That's right. Well, maybe they're paying to bring us back. You never know. I did a lot of theater while I was there, and then kind of moved to Chicago, lived there, got into advertising, marketing, lived there a decade or so, had many adventures, came back home because my family's all here, and got into some educational stuff, worked in the schools for a while, did some marketing still because that pays the bills. I don't know if you heard, but people in education don't get paid much. And It's a rumor, probably. I don't know. And then got
It's the worst
into
kept secret ever. Yeah.
yeah, did some education stuff. Did some marketing stuff. Was on the school board for a while too, because my heart of service, rings true from Paperboy. That was my service time then, and
I'd love to hear all the stories about the school board, but I guess you won't let us.
I.
How many years ago was this? Was this before this group right now that's going around trying to take them over? Maybe you can't even talk about that. But
you know what? No, I could. You want to know the scoop? Okay.
Well,
Nobody who's
get you in
listening to
trouble.
this tell anybody. All right.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
This is just between us and your 4 listeners. Okay?
See, he's listened to enough of these to know.
Now it's 3.
Yeah. Wow, they're dropping like flies. No, I actually ran for school board because of course, my child was in the schools. I went through the schools. I knew the schools very well. I'd already worked in the schools. I felt like a connection with knowing what things needed some work and what things were great. And I'm a proud Bobcat, Brookings Bobcats, and just decided to go for it. And was elected, and it was a great time in many ways. It's also anyone who serves in public office knows there's a lot of stuff you can't talk about and whatever. But I will tell you, this was 2014, something like that, 2013 maybe.
Yeah.
And it's like a 3-year term, and I got on, and then everything was a different world. I ran for re-election, and what I had noticed was, in that time, I'm not going to get too political, but the social media and everything had taken on this whole vibe of, you know what, we can trash talk, we can rip things up, we can do whatever, public forum of like social media that wasn't there before.
Wow.
And people felt emboldened to just do whatever they wanted to. And I was like, I feel weird being in the grocery store and seeing someone who was just like really nasty about something about schools on social media. Now it's the norm, but at that time there was a noticeable change from national politics that started it, I believe, that trickled down with the certain elections that happened. So when my second election in 2017, I put my name in the ring. I did not do really any campaigning. There were other people who were kind of on board more, I think, with the new method of thinking that we're running too. And I just kind of sat back and kind of almost hoped that I didn't get it, because it had changed so drastically that it was not. I didn't want to live like that. Now, I still would have served great if I had won, but I'd lost the second election. The follow-up one. So some people will say I'm just bitter about it. And I'm like, no, I kind of knew it the whole time that this was coming, and I was okay with it. So that's my school board story there for you.
Well, see, and I think the people that are best suited or best for service or whatever, like some of these people that are running aren't really there to serve. They're there to tear things down. But anyway, or people are afraid to jump in the ring because they don't want to be, in the social media circus or whatever it is.
Yes, and
I mean,
I've still stayed kind of vocal behind the scenes, and I kind of understand how things are for different reasons, and the new issues that are much more social issues with books and whatever. I hope I've helped to affect some standing of ground in certain areas or whatever, but I am done with the public portion. It's funny, once you run for office, by the way, I will also say this. Anyone who probably leads a public office in any local town knows this. Everybody's your friend when you're on it. Like they all want something from you. Boy, the number of calls and emails. Hey, how's it going, buddy? How's this going? And like the same people I would see, 2 months later, and they didn't know who I was.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I
got such a kick out of it internally. Of course, you just kind of move on. But you got to have a certain willpower and desire to put yourself through that. And I think these days that you didn't have when I first ran. I mean, honestly, it was all sunshine and rainbows and lollipops when I first ran, and things had changed. So that's that chapter of life.
Yeah.
And now, of course, now I work for a local nonprofit that's part of an international that works with housing to help bring people who would not normally be able to get into a home because of they're putting all their money, 50% or more, or whatever, towards rent, to just hand to mouth, and to be able to help break that cycle and get them into something that creates generational wealth and of course all the benefits that go along with that kind of stuff. So,
Randy's making a difference.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey, somehow I fell into these jobs that try and make things better for people, but
you're such a do-gooder.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
So what we're talking about that, let's before we get some feedback, let's get to our what are we drinking tonight feature.
Who's going first? Well, the guests can go first, or unless you have something really fantastic, you can go.
Randy, would you like to tell us what you're?
I can kick things off because, okay. Well, my question is, would you rather go to like a local carnival and then Valley Fair and then Disney World, like it builds up, or would you rather start at Disney World and then compare it to what the local carnival is like? Because I'm the local carnival. I'll give you that.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty low.
Is that an
yeah, I don't know if I fit
at the local carnival.
Okay, well,
yeah.
So Randy, you pick.
I'll go first.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's anywhere but up. So I am going to crack this baby open. I saved it just for now. Here you go. Did you get that?
I'll amplify it.
Oh, I just heard a.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a sound now.
Okay. No, yeah, that was exactly it. No, so I am having a cheap beer. And the reason I'm having this, yes, it was me opening a can of cold beer, and I think it's still cold. I don't really keep I don't drink a lot of whiskey or anything that you guys, I always wanted to be a highbrow kind of connoisseur, and I'm not,
It's
so
okay.
I don't have alcohol in my house most of the time, unless I know for a reason someone's coming over and we're going to, whatever. But I was making chili 2 weeks ago, and I was trying to do beer chili. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it didn't turn out great. And the reason being is because I'm not a connoisseur. I just went and I bought a 6-pack of Keystone Light.
I don't think it matters for chili what beer you put in. But,
well, maybe I didn't cook it right, because it kind of just was like a sloppy. I threw a lot of it away.
Joe.
Yeah. It was just kind of a watery, didn't taste that great. I thought it'd enhance so much. Like, I'm some chef, right? I don't cook that often.
Well, you put the whole 6-pack in. That's the problem, right?
No, I put one beer in. That's why I have 5 left. So if this baby goes all night, we can really see what Randy does.
Now, is this, you said it's Keystone?
It's Keystone Light. And you know what? That was like the choice beer when you're a poor college kid. I remember those.
Does it have the specially lined can still? Like they used to advertise?
Geez, how do I know? What am I supposed to crawl in the can?
It should say it on the can.
Why was it specially lined?
I don't know what it was. It was lined with what, BPA or something like that?
I think it was lined with hopes and dreams.
Yeah, right. That was always their little tagline. Like it was supposed to not taste so metallic or something. I don't know.
I'm looking at the can. I don't see anything that's especially lined.
Oh, see, they things just aren't. Yeah.
Or it was whatever chemicals.
Okay. Anyway, well, how is the beer?
Well, let me see.
Is it better than last time?
It's as good as I remember and as bad as I'd like to forget.
It's like good as Scotch by beer. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this kind of stuff is great if you're like fishing or something, I suppose, or at the beach on a cold day.
Yeah, ice cold, some kind of lager.
Yeah, like
Sure.
maybe a heavier beer. I there are places in town that would kick me out if I ordered probably a Keystone Light
And it's
beer.
sadly not made in Keystone, South Dakota.
No, I
Oh,
thought it was buying local
Yeah,
for the holidays. I thought it was buying local.
sad.
Sad
well,
all around.
who's next, John? John usually goes
Um,
last. I think I might have a better one than you this time.
you probably do, but go for it.
Oh, okay. You gonna go?
No, I'll go, sure. In honor of Halloween, I'm drinking a Frankenstein beer, or not beer. Cut that out. Whiskey.
Frankenstein
Yeah.
whiskey.
Yeah, translation. I put two different ones
Oh,
together. I mixed a couple, or
Okay.
suicide, if you will.
Oh, a homemade concoction. All right.
Or a
blend.
a blend. Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, we
That
got
would
You
be
are the
correct.
sum of all pieces. Yes.
Yeah, it's only got two different ones, but I was in a hurry.
Fine.
This is a combination Costco's Isla Scotch, which is a smoky name, store brand Scotch, and another store brand one from Total Wine that's a Lowland style Scotch, which both are pretty good on their own. Together, it kind of tastes like Johnny Walker or some shit like that, but
So you
it's
made
just
a
fine.
you made a Midland.
Yeah, I did. It's got kind of the a little of each.
Well, fine.
It's
Okay.
yeah, that's exactly what it's fine.
I got this thing called Crooked Water, or it's a distiller. It's not. It actually isn't a distiller. They just do the blending. But I got it because it's women owned. I wanted to try that. Support the women owned distillers. But actually, this ended up not being a distiller. Heather Manley is the owner. Crooked Water is the name, and they do blends, and very fine blends. And the packaging is, or the packaging, it's only a glass. I don't want to say packaging, but the marketing, the pictures are really cool. And you shouldn't judge a whiskey by its cover, we all know, but this is a very nice cover. Old Hell Roaring. They do some other stuff too. This is a double-barreled straight bourbon whiskey. It doesn't say an age statement or anything like that, and I found out it was a blend because John looked it up when I was trying to figure out.
Well, now I want to be correct about this, but I think so. If I remember right, this distillery is not. So when you say they blend, that usually what that means is they buy whiskey from another distillery, usually one of the really big ones. So they'll buy barrels of that and mix them together and put it in bottles.
Right.
What I took from reading the website was that they contracted with another distillery to make the whiskey according to their specifications.
Okay, that is different.
And so it's not, even though it's made by somebody else, it's distilled and barreled and all that stuff. It's not necessarily just commodity whiskey that they blended together and put in a bottle.
Oh, I didn't want to imply it was any kind of run-of-the-mill operation. So is that somewhere in between blending and distilling? It's kind of a different.
Well, yeah, I mean
they're commissioning
that's
it.
They're not. You can't call them a distillery because they don't actually make the spirit.
Well,
but yeah, that's a weird category. But I've heard of this before. That it's different from when they will just go to like that big Indiana distillery called MGP. They make a ton of bourbon and rye, and they make a huge range of it that's sold under a ton of different labels.
Well, yeah, because
like
will get their own blender.
Bullet, for example, is made by them.
And when you were out across South Dakota recently, you saw a wall drug, a special.
Well, that was a single barrel store pick from Al's Oasis.
Yeah.
Which was pretty damn funny.
What a God.
Al's Oasis, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I mean, for all I know, Al's Oasis has as a Knob Creek or a Woodford or
I used
Makers.
to work in tourism, and I'll tell you, they're fine people out there in Wall Drug.
Mm-hmm.
You don't second guess their beverages.
No.
It could be very decent. It's
just 5 cents.
It wasn't 5 cents. It was
$5 whiskey
$70
for
a bottle.
veterans and cowboys.
Well, it's
free
funny.
ice water. They're very good marketing.
Wall Drug and Al's Oasis both do the 5-cent coffee, I believe.
Well,
wow, that's a deal.
Now the question is, which one is better?
Oh, we'll have to do a taste test. South Dakota 5-cent coffee taste test.
You can't really get a side-by-side comparison.
No,
because once you get it at Al's Oasis, if you still have the coffee,
you got to drive for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not going to taste the same.
Well, I was just at Al's Oasis about little more than 24 hours ago, driving back from good old Rapid City, and I did stop and have lunch there.
Oh,
and
I haven't had.
It's funny.
Did they
Al's
still have
Oasis.
the salad bar?
They still have the salad, but the restaurant is really unchanged from what I remember.
Wow.
But everything else
cool.
looks different inside.
Oh,
everyone who goes there, or everyone who goes through there, are adults who bring their kids, and they want the nostalgia factor. See, they want the booths that haven't changed since they sat in them.
The restaurant has the same weird little salad bar, and it has the back rooms that when the marching band would stop there on the bus, they'd put us all in the back room and all that stuff. But the outer lobby area, they've completely remodeled. That section in between the restaurant and the grocery store, in there, and that's all looks kind of new. It's got much more gift shop stuff out there, and that looks different to me. And the grocery store is now also owned by I noticed this because it's owned by this outfit that also runs the grocery store in my wife's hometown of Gregory, called Buies.
Buies. And
it's spelled Buche or something like that. Matthew P. will know what I'm talking about.
That doesn't even make sense.
No, I don't get it. It's probably foreign.
His name.
Yeah, and I noticed they've taken over the Al's Oasis grocery store. So
somebody had to.
That was a little strange, but anyway, but in the front of the grocery store, they had a big display of Woodford Reserve bourbon, but it was a single barrel version of it, chosen by somebody at Al's Oasis. I don't think Al picked it. But
handpicked by Al. Was there ever an Al?
I think it wasn't. There must have been an Al. Somebody look it up.
I don't.
Bob's Oasis. Yeah, whatever. So I don't know how we got onto that, but talking about your drink, Phil.
Oh well, I was gonna say it's
how is it though?
Well, it's a tiny bit smoky. Which because I like a smoky Manhattan or whatever sometimes, so I thought I'd try that, which I haven't yet. I've just been drinking it on ice.
Is it supposed to be smoky? Like, do they talk about using any kind of charred barrels or any of that stuff?
It's got a robust double-barreled. It's a robust double-barrel bourbon, and it's proprietary complex toasting and the smoking process, and what that does is
you made all that up,
intense
right?
Intense and beautiful experience with rounded notes, deep vanilla, burnt caramel, and smoldering campfire.
Man, I wish I could.
That's a lot.
Like that. I wish I could come up with words to describe my Keystone Light. That sounded so poetic.
Well, you used to work in marketing. Can't you do that?
Yeah, come on, dude.
But I like also truth in advertising, which would be this is a watery.
Oh no!
And that's why you don't work in marketing anymore.
It gets the job done. Beer, yeah. No. I will say
side.
this, Phil. Introduced me to a drink that everyone else has had in the world, but again, I didn't at the time. The last time I saw Phil was unfortunately, I believe, at a funeral for someone, teacher that we had, and
very fine teacher,
very fine instructor. Yes, made a big impact on us.
Nancy W. We could say Nancy Wheeler.
Okay, Nancy, and We were, of course, after the funeral. Some of us got together, who were all through her um, touch points of life that and were at the bar. And you had, what is it, a green mule? What's the one with the mule in the word? Is it,
What did I have? I don't remember.
it's usually served in like a tin cup of
Oh, it's just what, John, help me. What is that called? Just a mule, a Moscow mule.
Moscow Mule.
There.
Oh, Lord, that shows my
Yeah,
ignorance.
it's in a copper cup. Yes.
God, there you go. And you
took three
had
of
one
us.
that night, and I was like, oh, I'll try one of those. And I was like, that was good. I don't know if I've had one since. So
Well,
I'll
we'll just
have
wait for somebody else to die.
well, something to look forward to.
It's a little dark here. So, speaking of dark, it's Halloween's coming up.
Yeah, I think we were going to talk about spook tonight, weren't we? Spooky stuff.
Is this your favorite holiday? Halloween?
As a kid, I still bounce back and forth. I'm still a kid. Christmas and Halloween, they get all the attention. Am I going to say Arbor Day? No. um, but I love Christmas. My birthday's around Christmas too. So that's like a great time in many ways when you're a child. And so is Halloween. So I would say, yeah, I think I'm still torn between the two. But Halloween, definitely, I probably get into the scariness more than I get into the love and giving of Christmas. Isn't that sad? That's wrong.
No. I don't know. It's not like you're a mass murderer, as far as I know. I mean, you're just kind of
the
into
podcast. People can't tell what's in my basement.
It's a true crime podcast.
Yes. Ooh, quest.
Oh, our ratings are going to skyrocket now.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
The Grimley basement.
I love Halloween. Who doesn't love Halloween? Well, yeah, actually, I know there are people who don't celebrate Halloween, so I shouldn't say that. Or you notice this now? It's being called like spooky season. Everything is instead of Halloween on social media and stuff. I see people saying,
"Really,
this is our spooky season decorations," and I don't know.
Oh,
I don't really care that much to be invested in it, but I just notice it.
Is it because Halloween sounds like hell or something, or what?
I don't know. There are certain religions,
Sure.
and I don't know what they are for sure, because I don't think it's mine, but that don't celebrate Halloween. And All Saints Day is, as a Catholic boy, that's November 1st. So Halloween is the eve, technically.
All Hallows Eve.
I'm gonna put a plug in here. If you ever go down the YouTube
Catholic
rabbit
Church.
hole. Yes. If you go down the YouTube rabbit hole of like looking up the history of Halloween, there's a lot of videos, well, several anyway, from like the History Channel that are that delve into how it all started and everything, and it's very interesting. And I'm glad that we all lived through the 70s and 80s, which apparently 60s, 70s was the heyday with costumes and kids going out trick-or-treating, and that has changed even since the 90s. So,
well, those masks though, geez, those plastic, and it'd be cold, and you'd be like have the perspiration or the condensation of your breath.
Yeah.
Side, and
you could really smell. I still remember the smell of those masks.
I always will. I'll never forget it. That's probably what Keystone Light is lined with.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the marketing ploy. It's like a liquefied version of a 1970s Halloween mask.
Yep. The same thing that coated your stormtrooper mask is also in your beer can.
Yes. Well, the scent was the plastic or whatever they allowed them to make those death traps. But also it was a collection of like 5 previous years of sweat and condensation.
If you get hand-me-down costumes.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, so I wore things that like everyone else had worn, of those kind of masks. So yeah, the sweat would just loosen up the remnants.
And nobody thought about sanitizing that stuff back then. That was just only like COVID during COVID. Now they'd spray the hell out of it. Or no, not now, but a couple years ago. Anyway, what was your favorite costume that you What was your favorite Halloween year as a kid? Your favorite costume? I don't know. The pinnacle of maybe you're still doing it now. I don't know. You're into cosplay or something. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm dressed up right now.
Hey.
As a middle-aged man, and it's working out just fine for me.
Me too.
Yay.
You know, do you think if I go next door and knock on someone's door and say trick or treat in my regular clothes?
Yeah. Huh?
Like right now, live? We've never done one of those kind of things before.
Yeah. Do you have bail money on you? I mean,
I'll bail you out.
Is there a budget for this program?
Just don't get Officer Handigard. He's probably not alive anymore.
Oh, I don't know him.
Oh, that's a different story. I don't going to go into that. That was a Brookings cop. I may have told the story before, but I think I called him Officer Handy.
Handywipe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he threw me up against the wall, Randy.
Ooh.
I
never heard that one.
No, I'll tell you some other day. I think I've already told. Well, it is kind of scary. That could fit into Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so what was your? Oh no, tangents. What was your favorite? Maybe because I don't remember years, but I remember like the last year when I decided this is the last year, I'm not going to do it anymore. I remember that.
Oh,
but what? I don't remember that. Like it was 19 blah blah blah. I don't remember that. Yeah. But I remember this thinking when I was going around. It's like I'm not doing this anymore. I'm too old. But what was your favorite experience or whatever?
You know, I went trick or treating with my next oldest brother, who was 4 years older than me. So we practiced for like the week before that. I would go, knock on a bedroom door and he would answer it, and I would say trick or treat, and then he'd give me a piece of candy, and then he'd run to the next bedroom, and I would act like I was walking. Yes, this is early stage play acting. And I would walk around in a square in the basement, and then he'd say ready, and then I'd knock on the door, and then and he would answer the door like he was an old man or whatever, like he would change his character each time. I carried that on, myself with my own child. Even it's a wonderful time. So we practiced. I don't remember. My earliest one is I think I was in probably third grade. We had one of those pesky blizzards as South Dakota gets, and I remember my mom following. Like I'd get in the car and she'd drive me 20 feet to the next driveway
of houses.
Yeah, and I had a winter coat on with the bed sheet cut over it to be a ghost. Because I tell you this, in South Dakota and in the Midwest, I always still say, you got to plan for the weather. And when I see people who they're being the sexy nurse or the whatever it is, I know you're miserable. I'm like, you got to think in July already. Like, it's probably going to be 20 degrees or maybe blizzarding. How can I incorporate a winter coat into my outfit? So ghost works great. You just put the sheet on over. So I remember that one. And of course I was like one of the three people back when everyone trick-or-treated and you'd have 200 people. I was one of three that night, so they'd give me gobs of candy just to get rid of it and just to get me out so they can close the door and not let the heat get outside, as we say in South Dakota. And then let's see, I remember a couple years later there was a fad, and for whatever reason I got a new costume. I should look these up. There was something that was inflatable, and you'd put it on your head. Nobody's gonna remember this.
Oh no!
It came with it was an alien or whatever it was. What's that?
It was like an alien, and then you painted your face.
There was different ones. You'd paint your face.
I don't know,
but you'd have like a foot and a half above you would be this inflatable thing. So
that was after my time, but I remember hearing about that.
It was miserable. That was an awful. That's why I remember it, is because I couldn't walk past anything without hitting my head on it, because I was like, I don't know, 8, and I couldn't couldn't understand the spatial appropriation I would need to make with my head. And I think my brother that night actually ditched me, and he's like, you're holding me up.
All the good shit is taken.
Yeah, all the good stuff is taken. And then let's see, and then of course I flash forward to adults. Back I don't know. Did Phil, if they did that when you were in SDSU theater, we had some wicked SDSU Halloween parties where people would dress up quite extravagantly, because we were now 19, to 23 or whatever, and I had all done these makeup for theater courses.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my heart is a softie for the classics. So I did The Mummy, I did Frankenstein, I did Dracula, I did the classics. I will say the Frankenstein year, I made my own flat top head, and I started a month before. I had read this book that I had from when I was a kid about makeup for Halloween. Because by the way, side note, used to want to be like a practical effects wizard for horror movies. This is how long
Yeah.
I've been into horror in Halloween.
Cool.
And you put chicken wire around your head, and I measured that, and then I paper mached it and got the flat top. What I didn't account for was the thickness of the paper mache with the chicken wire. So I put it on my head, and it was super tight, and it was just around my forehead, on up.
Whoops.
And before I even this was, by the way, one of the college parties when I did that. So I should have known better. And I was in tears but I went all out. I got all the extra small clothes, so I looked huge. I had chains
I've
around
seen this
me.
picture, I think.
Yeah, I have a picture that I had shared once before. But I think I cried adult tears because I was in so much pain from the tight chicken wire around my head, cutting into my forehead, but determined not to break character.
Well, you could still go,
Right? Oh, I was doing that for real. But I took that off when I got home, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever, and I had chicken wire imprint on my head for about a week. Like I had to go to
that's
class and
hardcore.
everything with it. It would not come off. And I'd cut off the circulation. That might explain some things. I'd cut off the circulation to the top part of my head. Kids, don't do this at home. Anyway, there's my whole tangent on costumes.
oh man.
That's amazing.
I
It's
don't think I ever
commitment, and
dressed up for the college parties. I think Jesse and I and sometimes Jade would just kind of make cameos and go bounce around to different things and different parties.
See, you were too cool for it. I was
No,
not cool. I needed
don't
attention.
know. We would just make little cameos. It was fun just to show up at parties, and this wasn't just theater people. We'd show up like at fraternity parties or whatever, and just kind of act like we were supposed to be there, and then leave and just use the bathroom or something.
And then be found out and kicked out.
No, we never. People would just kind of look at us like Jade had this weird aura about him. I don't know if you remember Jade, but
Oh yeah.
well, you had to have known Jade.
Yeah,
but,
I knew Jade from high school theater on up.
Yeah. He had this weird aura about him. He could just like once we were at the Safari Lounge or something, and we're just talking. We're just standing there talking, and this all of a sudden this woman came up to him and or I don't know, a young woman, and I don't know what was going on, but it was obvious that she was okay if he wanted to leave with her or something, and just out of the blue like that. And he's like, "Well, I'm talking to my friends," or I don't think he said anything, but because he did this quiet, dark thing, and I don't know if he still does that, but gosh, some of the ladies they just love that, quiet.
Oh,
dark thing.
he was brooding.
Yeah,
brooding.
He was brooding before it was even popular.
Teen angst goes for that.
But now I don't know. Now I think we're probably post brooding. The nerds took over for a while there, but I don't know what's happening now.
Well, I actually brood now. It's not fake. I brood all the time.
You can brood if you want to. I don't know. So there, fine. John, do you have a favorite costume? I don't think I did. We've talked about Halloween before.
Yeah, I think
you were a paper carrier.
Yeah, that should have been. Probably, like a lot of kids at that time, I just wanted whatever I was into, like Star Wars and all that stuff. And those disposable costumes your parents buy you, they have those little paper like masks.
Paper?
Well, I don't know what they were made out of. Some kind of plastic.
This is pre-plastic. Oh yeah.
Maybe they were plastic.
Plastic line.
They pretty much disintegrated after one season. We
I don't know.
definitely didn't pass them
Randy's
on.
family got a few more years out of them.
Yeah, maybe you were buying better quality ones. I feel like ours didn't last.
No, They were the 99-cent ones, but they were, back in the 60s and early 70s, they made them to last.
Even cheap plastic, man. Well, they were
Yeah,
probably made in China
They're still biodegrading somewhere, I'm sure.
that's
or
right.
Japan. They were made in Japan.
Yeah, and we didn't, we didn't just do the Charlie Brown thing where we wear sheets.
Hey, don't make
Wait.
fun of Randy. That's what he did because he had to put it over his
It
coat.
worked
I
with a
mean,
blizzard.
We
Worked
had
with a
to
blizzard.
wear those at Christmas at grade school Christmas concerts. Yes, we all wore those sheets.
What? Were you angels then, though?
Yeah, so this was the thing.
You weren't ghosts.
No, they just went to
No.
church in sheets.
They were more like
Oh,
capes.
no, wait. Yeah, he was in South Dakota, not that far down south, Randy.
No. No, the way this worked, I probably talked about this before, but it's probably been
Don't
long
remember
enough.
this.
Who cares?
I forgot, so it's fine.
Grade school, they make all the kids sing in the little concert and all that stuff, and they send you home with this pattern, this paper pattern that your mom at the time is supposed to take a bed sheet and cut in certain places so that there's
familiar.
armholes and a place for your head to go through, and you have these kind of, it's probably based on some church choir thing.
Yeah.
And so they all match up. So it doesn't matter what shit the kid is wearing underneath, that they all look alike.
Did you have like the garland halo thing or?
No, it was just the white sheets.
So, and this was for choir?
Yeah, we all said, stood up and sang a bunch of,
this
at the time,
kind of
very
familiar.
Christian Christmas carols.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah, all that stuff is done for good reason. But man, I hated wearing that thing. It was so dumb. I just thought it was I gave my mom so much grief about having to wear that stupid sheet.
It wasn't her fault.
No,
She's
no,
just
and
following the directions.
I'm sure she didn't enjoy having to make the damn thing, but
Well, think about these
but
kids.
on top of it, I had to pile on and bitch about it too.
Yeah, but think about these kids that, they didn't believe in the Ku Klux Klan or whatever, and they got this, they're sent home with these patterns, and their moms had to make them this thing. And they're like, Mom, I don't want to wear this sheet. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Well,
could
it's
have been
good enough
worse.
for your father.
Someday you'll get this red one. Well, no.
Yeah.
Boy, we went. I veer off into. I know. Randy loves the Halloween. I've mentioned that before. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't love it. I really like it.
He has sex with Halloween.
How'd you marry it?
Yeah.
Don't ask him about his pumpkin carving. No, I might.
Yeah.
edit
Well,
that
hey,
out.
let's
That was
talk
terrible.
about pumpkin carving. Did all of your families do jack-o'-lanterns?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm still debating. I as an adult, I don't know how soon I've never gauged how soon I can carve before it just is rotten before Halloween. So I'm still debating on what day do I carve it, because you go trick or treating, you drive by houses and they got really into the spirit like a week early, and by like the 28th of October, it's just mush and the face is caved in and they're still trying to hold it up, because Halloween's soon.
A squirrel
Rookie
nibbled
mistake.
on it.
Yes. It's got to be in its prime.
My folks definitely did. I think they did it pretty late, but we did the jack-o'-lanterns. I can still remember the smell of the burned top of it from having a candle in it.
Oh yeah.
For hours on end.
Yeah.
It would sort of slowly dry out and cook the inside.
Kind of a weird caramelized sort of. I mean, that might have been why you liked it.
And yet it was also kind of damp and starting to rot too at the same time. It was a weird smell.
And you know what they don't talk about is if you keep your pumpkin inside and do that, like I usually keep it inside now as an adult, and you get fruit flies. Like, have you ever done that?
No.
Where you keep your pumpkin, if you can light it, and I swear by day 2 or day 3, all of a sudden I'm like, I have fruit flies because of this pumpkin.
No. I think you need to go get a fake pumpkin.
Yeah, well, they last forever. Those are pretty popular too.
Yeah, of course, everything.
My
Fake.
brother,
It's all
my
fake.
brother, my brother Brett does a pretty elaborate carving every year. Uh, Several years ago, he did Barack Obama. This was when he won the election or after he won the election.
Wow.
No, I mean it was really good too. It looked like him, right? If I tried to carve Barack Obama on a pumpkin, I don't know what. I can't do that, but he
If
did
they
it.
were side by side, you couldn't tell the difference. Is that what you're saying, Phil?
No.
Well,
Well,
You saying he's kind of orange? Or...
no. You could do Trump. Trump could be a
Oh
Trump
my God,
pumpkin.
yeah.
He'd be orange.
Could be a Trumpkin.
I don't want to get into politics, but I thought I'm gonna for a second here. I thought Emmers was gonna be able to do it.
No way.
No
way.
You didn't think so?
No. I mean, why would he succeed at this when Kevin McCarthy did not?
Wait. Don't.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten to watch the news yet.
I came from work and now I'm doing this. And then last I heard he was up for it. Oh, it didn't happen?
No, he had to withdraw. He pulled out.
Why?
I thought
he didn't have
he was
enough
gonna
votes.
do it.
Yeah.
But
So they didn't even send it to vote, huh?
No, they don't want to lose.
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, they're at the point now where they're like,
I mean, I don't know how much more embarrassing could it get?
Fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably the best thing that they could do would be to make some deal with the Democrats to have that bow tie wearing guy, the low rent Paul Simon looking guy, who's the temp.
The other Paul Simon, not the singer.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a real old reference.
And have him kind of, sorry, yeah, probably nobody got that. Phil did. And have him, the Republicans mostly hate him, but they would be able to.
But I thought Emmers could do that. I thought enough Democrats would either abstain from voting or maybe get a couple votes to pull it off. Because Emmers he's a deal builder.
But he's part of McCarthy's thing, and McCarthy kind of fucked the Democrats over on some of those deals. So I think they probably said no way.
But here we are, the government shut down. That's what these 5 or 10 people want. So we're letting them have what they want. Let's get this over with. Let's figure it out.
Well,
okay,
it's a dilemma. Definitely is. I mean, I think there's an argument either way. But anyway,
bringing it back to Halloween.
Yeah,
I'm going to be Paul Simon for Halloween.
Talk about obscure! Wow.
Oh man, I don't go out to bars or anything on Halloween. I stay home and defend my house from pumpkins. But I can only imagine how many Trumps and Lauren Boeberts and groping partners and like how many are going to be like by the 20-year-olds who are being super clever and at a party, and the 24-year-olds who think they're the only one who's going to show up as whatever. But
it could be like that couple in Missouri who sat on their porch and shot at people.
Oh, that's a different kind of Halloween.
Wait, I can be like that?
No, we shouldn't. You shouldn't do that.
Aspirational goals. No,
that's you shouldn't.
That. So cool. John, what religion were you raised under?
All of them.
Oh, wow.
No. We nominally went to a Methodist church.
Okay. So I just want to say, Randy, John's the only guy I know that wasn't Catholic that has as many people in his family as you do.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Halloween. So Randy's got these
another kind of horror. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the horrors of the house, now. So, but Randy also, maybe he could be a DJ. He does some. I
was a DJ for like 3 years. Did you know that?
You do some emceeing. No, I didn't know you were a DJ. I was for 1 year. What did you do? Where did you work?
Well, wait. What do you mean by DJ?
Oh, wait. No, I was going to say because Randy does these mixes with Halloween songs and stuff. But
no, I meant around a radio station.
Yeah.
Okay, not a performing DJ.
Before DJ was co-opted by wedding parties and whatever, dance mixes in
or just performance
bar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was a DJ in high school and college.
Well, you have a nice voice. Where did you work? At what kind of station?
So this seems like this is an all about. Is this my life? Is this what we're talking about?
It could be. You could play it
Okay,
at your
so
funeral.
oh, do you know something I don't know?
No, I hope it isn't for a long time.
Okay. Thank you.
And you can't play it, but maybe the DJ will.
I would like some whoop whoop in the house.
Randy's in the house.
Randy's in the house. Randy has left the building. So I was a journalism student in high school, and the local radio station wanted to have people do a program like for halftime to be played at the local insert to the like Brookings High School football games that they broadcast live. And Jesse Hassler and I were chosen, and I guess because we had great deep voices. And we did this, and it was pre-recorded that would go in and we'd, like, here's the happenings at Brookings High School, and we would do like a 5-minute radio show. And then they played it. And then later on, like a few months later, the local radio station in Volga, they've merged now. They're all under the same corporate umbrella, but it used to be in Volga, which is a neighboring town.
Wait, you say vulva?
Volga. I say that, but what I didn't say right now.
Vulgar Volvo.
VOLGA. Volga, South Dakota.
Like the Volga Volga. Okay.
Bedroom community that is about, I don't know, 7 miles from Brookings.
Sure.
And the station used to be what was it? KV 91? No, 102.3 and 93. I can't remember what they were. It was an AM FM. And they wanted a part-timer to come in and just work Minnesota Twins baseball games, which they played, and put in the local commercial breaks. And my teacher told me about it. I applied. I was 14. And they said, yeah, we'll take you. I know. So at first, the first thing, right? Oh, yeah. I can't even remember what I got paid. But I was like, cool, I'm on radio.
Yeah.
But I didn't talk. I didn't talk, mind you. I was like, the Minnesota station would say, and now a break from our local sponsors. And I'd put in the little pre-recorded ad, and then the next one, and the next one.
The cart.
Well, then, the cart. Oh, yes. I don't know new technology, but I remember the old ones.
Yeah.
And after, and then I would play. Yeah. So I was hired for like 3 to 4 hours, every Sunday or whatever it was. And then they taught me how to put on a record in case the person who replaced me didn't get there in time.
Yeah.
So I learned how to work the turntable and the soundboard. And before I knew it, they're leaving me alone in this $1 million studio.
Yeah.
And I'm like running the place for Sundays for like 3 hours. Well, they ended up merging with moving actually first to Brookings to get a better signal in the old train station depot, which is now something else. But we were there, and Michael Schaefer, I don't know if you know him, but I just said his name. He was a DJ there. Anyway, got hired there to be a DJ, and I was like, I don't know, 17. I was a junior in high school, going into senior.
That's cool.
So I did that until I was like, I don't know, sophomore in college, and finally I was doing plays and whatever stuff. I'm like, I can't keep up the schedule, and I had to leave. But I love that job because they put me on overnights, and then I started doing like weekends, and then that I'm like actually talking. I remember working Christmas Eve and having nothing to really say, and I read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" over the air, and it was listened to by like the cleaning crew at the local movie theater who called me and was like, "That was great."
Oh, that's
it
funny.
Was awesome. So yeah. Anyway, again,
I was going to make a crack about how this sounds like an extended promo for Sleep Baseball or something.
No, it's not.
I haven't been part of that. Nobody wants me.
No, sleepbaseball.com. You never know; it might happen.
Yeah, that's Phil's successful podcast.
Could I audition my voice?
King is the guy. No, I don't know why you couldn't. Why you want to do an ad? I'll talk to King.
King? I used to do old timey gin, which was this is old timey gin, and I would talk like an old radio announcer. And I used to do that to make a coworker laugh when I worked at an ad agency. And he always said he's just passed away, and he always said you need to be doing that on the radio, a mock commercial from the 1940s.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right, you already did your audition. I'll talk to King. King was one of Jesse's friends. I don't know. Did you ever run into him?
King?
King.
Yeah. Oh, I was good friends with him from 6th grade on.
Oh, okay.
No, I know. Yeah.
You know all these guys. Yeah.
So we hung in the same circle.
So, well, yeah, I was the DJ at a overnight weekend shift at an easy listening station, that was hard to stay awake at. The one I've talked about this on the podcast before, but that had reel to reels, like these huge reels to reels, and you'd pause them and put a card in. But I would also say something like, "This is the nice and easy sounds of 101, easy 101, 103 FM," or whatever, and then click some buttons, and it was very analog. And but there was one lady that would call me. It wasn't the whole cleaning crew of some place, but it was she'd call me every now and then. I'd play a Frank Sinatra song, and she'd call me. She supposedly had an affair with him. I don't know, but whatever. That was in Spearfish, South Dakota, so it's possible.
Big things come from small beginnings, Phil. Look at you now.
Yeah, well, here we go.
That's right.
You've doubled your listeners.
What are your favorite? your 5 favorite spooky season songs, spicy pumpkin spice songs? No.
Oh God.
Wait, my favorite songs. I mean,
yeah, Halloween songs. Like what's
Phil? Can you even think of 5?
Monster Mash.
Okay.
Well, that's classic.
I'm trying not to get into devil things, like heavy metal things. Ozzy Osbourne's got to have a Season of the Bat or something, doesn't he have something like that? Alice Cooper. Okay, I can't come up with 5. I should be
okay. Randy might. I was skeptical that you.
Oh well, I wasn't
prepared. What about just the Thriller by Michael Jackson?
Thriller, yes.
Oh, classic. Yeah. Good one.
Oh, now I'm gonna say the other ones that I can think of are a little bit off, maybe people's radar. But I would say I made a mixtape once, and I had them all. And back when you could burn them onto a CD, I even did that and blared it out my windows on Halloween. Hush by Deep Purple.
Hush.
Why is that one about Halloween?
Well, it's not. It's a. I think it was used in a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
So wasn't there a Buffy and the Vampire Slayer episode called Hush?
Yes, I didn't watch that show, but I did see that episode where they lost their voices.
So it isn't that. Right. It doesn't reference that. Okay.
No. It's by Deep Purple is like a
I know the song.
I thought I heard you calling my name now. You'd recognize it. It's a
I would, but I can't offhand. That's
Devil
fine.
Woman. Devil Woman by Cliff Richard. That's a classic that you don't hear of on most mixtapes for Halloween.
Yeah.
Witchy Woman.
How about Season of the Witch by Donovan?
Yes, Season of the Witch.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was trying to think of songs that are really scary. I mean, no, Thriller was. I remember when that came out. That was Vincent Price monologue, and that was
wonderful. That's almost in a class by itself.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of songs like that are. If it has a hook and a melody, I don't know if you really are like, "Ooh, I'm scared to listen to that verse."
I'm just scared to dance.
Yeah, well, they're pretty much all novelty songs or themes from shows and stuff. But yeah.
Oh, Ghostbusters, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Ghostbusters. You can count that.
It's not scary though. Yeah, that one. Oh, never mind. I'd have to look it up. I'm not going to go down that. There's a guy that does some crazy music. Never mind. I'm going to edit this out. Fine. So, what are some other songs? No.
No, that's all I know. Well, like the Addams Family theme, the
Oh,
Monsters
duh.
theme, you got those kind of
Sure,
things.
sure. Yeah. So they're all kind of novelty fun,
Yeah,
sort
there
of.
there isn't like a let's take Halloween. Thriller probably is the most popular anyway, for sure, of let's take Halloween seriously or scares seriously. There's not anything even that says Halloween in the name or in the song, is there? Like that doesn't.
Well, the Halloween theme by John Carpenter.
Oh, of course,
Oh yeah,
yes. And
yes.
yeah, if you get into movie themes, the Exorcist theme, the Tubular
Oh,
Bells,
Uh, yep.
ooh. They'd all be
um,
instrumentals, though. Maybe I'll write
yeah,
some lyrics to the Exorcist theme.
that'd be difficult.
Oh,
They've just remade The Exorcist. I haven't seen it because I heard it's also bad, but I'm not rebooted or
Aren't
whatever.
they all bad except the original?
well,
Part three is supposed to be pretty good, but in a different way.
for some
Well,
reason they're going to make the plan is this new reboot is planned to be a trilogy, but I don't think the first one has been very well received.
yeah, I bet they're rethinking that plan. It's done poorly at the box office. Bad reviews, bad attendance.
Why remake you can't remake The Exorcist. I mean, that's a classic.
If someone remakes the original Halloween, I know it's been rebooted and whatever, but if they and Rob Zombie did that, it was an atrocious abomination. Sorry,
No.
people.
Yeah.
The original 1978 Halloween, starring Jamie Lee Curtis
Yeah.
and introducing Michael Myers, is so good.
Right.
That's my favorite.
Your favorite horror movie?
Oh, for sure.
So John, maybe I told you about this. I think I talked about it even on the show. Oh, I said, we got to have Randy on someday because I decided because of Randy, I decided to watch all of the Halloween movies. I don't think
Okay.
I don't think I quite got done. I think
You're wise.
I think I got stuck on the last one. I don't know. But I did watch almost all of them. And have you seen all of them, Randy?
Yeah.
That was a dumb question. But
Well,
but the first one is yeah. But so did you watch that documentary about the making of it? It was on the Films That Made Us on Netflix or something like
oh
that.
yes. Yeah, I've seen that's one of those YouTube rabbit holes I'll go through where I'll just type in like making of Halloween and then watch every person who tours the original home and every reviewer's thoughts on it, and it's like it's sad. I need to get out more often, I guess.
Well, okay, so what, not that we need to get too psychological here or whatever, but what is it about it that and maybe you don't know, but what is it about it that you like, or what is it about it that draws you to that, or I know there's this feeling of nostalgia. I remember the first time I saw the movie, I had
It's a lot of that, I think. Yeah. I
yeah.
think I remember the first time I had already, I think, been on network TV, maybe, I don't know. But I recall my brother moved to Rapid City, one of my brothers, and to be going to college. And my parents, we drove across. He had already been there for a while, and we drove across to the state to bring him some furniture and whatever, stay for the weekend. And he had basic cable, which nobody had. We didn't. I didn't grow up with basic cable, and it was in October, and because he had started school, and we had started school in September, and he had just gotten there. He had started, and then they went to bed. We'd moved furniture all day, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I think I was probably like 7, 8 years old, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stay up and watch TV. And they said, okay. And my parents are sleeping in the room on like a pull-out sofa, and he's in the little bedroom that he had in this trailer or whatever he was in. And I had seen for the first time the whole movie with the volume turned down, but me sitting like a foot from the TV so I could hear it
Yep.
and not wake anyone up. And my memory of that experience, I think, is as important as the scaredness I felt from seeing the movie as someone who shouldn't see an R-rated movie.
No. Yep.
But really, if you look back, like that movie, that should be PG. If it was made today, it'd be like PG-13, maybe. I mean, there's no there's very little. There's like a strangulation, and he gets stabbed, and then there's chasing. There's like
Oh,
no
but
blood and guts.
John Carpenter wasn't into that. He was, I mean, it was like, well, he was kind of old school with like Hitchcock or something. He didn't show
Yeah,
anything,
yeah, and they had no
and that's
money.
scarier.
Yes, it was all like building it up. Jaws did the same thing
It's
with
all in
like
your head.
yeah, you're right.
It makes it worse.
So that idea of it was just like wow. And then of course I saw it because it had been on cable. Then it was probably 1980. I don't know. And then like 2 years later, then I saw previews on TV for like, oh my gosh, the new movie is gonna be. They're coming out with the Halloween 2. And of
No,
course, I didn't go to the theaters. I didn't see that till a couple years even after it came out. But then since then, I was like involved, and then it just kept coming. It was like a comfort food of a horror creature that I could tolerate, but would also give me scares. And so, yeah, I've just really always enjoyed it. And then I stayed with it. I only watched through. Okay, so part one is the original. Part two is continues the night. I'm going to do some spoilers here. Is that okay?
no, yeah. Spoil
Since
away.
Phil's. Oh yeah.
What's the spoiled pumpkin?
What?
No, go ahead.
Wait, what?
Spoil this. A spoiled pumpkin.
He was making a bad joke.
Oof. What?
Edit that out. Nobody wants to hear that, Phil.
It's a spoiled pumpkin. No, if I say it 3 times, it's funny. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Comedy comes in threes.
Thanks,
Part two,
Dr. Johnson.
Yeah. Part two continues the night. Part of Laurie Strode, which was a unique thing. By the way, it wasn't well received, but later on it became a fan favorite, and sequels were very unheard of at that time. Jaws 2, Halloween 2, Friday the 13th Part 2 all came around in the same couple-year window of time.
Yeah.
People were not doing sequels. It was not thought of. Now it's, of course, like that's all they do is trilogies. They're adding more onto it.
Or 5.
And then
even.
Part 3 was, they made them. They're like, oh, this makes money. Let's make another one.
3 was really different, though.
It was. Part 3 was like no Michael Myers. It was a completely standalone story because originally John Carpenter and Deborah Hall, who made the first one and produced it and wrote it, thought that why would they continue the story of Michael Myers? That's done. And John Carpenter, didn't want to come back for part 2, but was obligated to do so. And the check was good, so he did.
Sure.
And then part 3 came along, and they kind of went the direction of what was originally thought of let's make just different stories all around Halloween. I still think somebody should do that, by the way. Like instead of having a sequel, it's like the Twilight Zone, where these are all stories that take place on Halloween or around it.
Yeah.
But they're different. But that really bombed. So because people were like, "Where's Michael Myers?"
3 was really weird. I mean, I just because when I rewatched it, I was like,
it is. It's like
I kind of appreciated it though. Yeah. Because it's like, oh no, these masks are going to control.
Yeah.
50% of the people are going to kill themselves or whatever. It's early Thanos.
Oh, all the kids putting on the mask and then being told to watch this TV commercial. That's not far-fetched by today's standards to say, kids, tune in now and watch. At 8:00 you'll get a special surprise.
But I remember that too, though, when John and I were younger. You'd get the 3D glasses from Carpet Land and you'd watch Creature from the Black Lagoon. So we'd be like, okay, this is kind of dumb, but whatever. Maybe you don't remember that. John didn't go to Carpet Land.
And then part 4 came along and they tried to reboot there because part 3 bombed so much without Michael. They were like, let's bring back Michael. So Jamie Lee was done because by then she was making her name and other things.
Well, then Donald Pleasance.
And Donald Pleasance was done. Donald Pleasance came back.
He came back for 4.
Yeah, and 5. And 6.
Eventually he had to die.
In real life.
One of my favorite scenes in any of the movies is in 4. And it's when Donald Pleasance is in the car with that preacher in the truck. What was Donald Pleasance's name? Dr. Loomis or something?
Dr. Loomis, Dr. Sam Loomis.
So he's in the car with this preacher guy, and they're going to because his car got blown up. Michael Myers destroyed a gas station to try to kill him or something, and he's hitchhiking, and he gets picked up by this preacher guy. But that's one of my favorite scenes in any of the movies. It's probably the most. It's just these two characters that are. I think Donald Pleasant's character sees a little bit of himself in this kind of whacked out preacher guy. It's like, yeah, we're driven by the same kind of, and they share whiskey. They're driven by the same things, fighting evil and whatever else. That one guy's crazy, and he's probably maybe not, but kind of. But I don't know. I think that's one of my favorite scenes in any of the movies. Actually, the personal element.
And there's lots of little Easter eggs in there, like Sam Loomis, Dr. Loomis, is named after Psycho characters. There was
I was just about to make a comment that's the
Murray
same
Samuels.
name.
Yeah.
What?
And they were big fans. Of course, Janet Leigh,
the boyfriend,
was the famous shower scene of Psycho, is Jamie Lee Curtis's mom in real life.
Yeah. Film nerds. That problem.
Yeah. Yes, right. It doesn't ruin your enjoyment if you don't know these things, but it adds to it if you do.
Easter eggs.
That's a fun detail. Yeah.
And then, so part 4 and 5 follow around who's supposed to be her her daughter, and Jamie Lee was written out like she died in a car accident. And then 5 and 6, or 4 and 5 did okay, and then I didn't watch from then on for a while because I was like, ooh, this is hurting me now. Like, I love this character, but it's not staying too great. Yeah. And then I think which was the one that had what's his name? The Wasp. Or no, Ant-Man.
Yeah.
He was in, I think, 6. Paul Rudd. It was like his first film. And then Clueless, which was his first film people know him by, came out. And so then they released that one, the Halloween 6, because they wanted to market on that. And he didn't want anyone to see it. And then
it wasn't the worst one. Maybe.
It was pretty much directed video. And then I think Jamie Lee came back for H2O.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I did go to that in the theater because I'm like, well, they're revisiting it. So the timeline, of course, gets confusing because H2O, it takes place like
they
1 and 2.
Some of those other ones.
Part 1 happened, part 2 happened, and then it jumps to hers, ignored the other ones. And then Rob Zombie came back with a reboot.
He did a couple.
And did a couple of those. And then, what happened? And then the trilogy, and those fizzled. The second one bombed, and way more violent than, again, from the first one, which was suspense because someone's like following you or hidden in the shadows to zombies, which is
what
like ripping people apart.
Sure.
Yeah. And then they brought back this latest trilogy, which the part 1 was cool, part 2 was interesting, and part 3 is very divisive.
I got stuck on one of them. I can't even remember. I meant to look and see where I left off, but maybe it was up there somewhere.
I basically, for Halloween, I watched part 1 and 2, the original 78 and like the 81 sequel.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that get me Halloweened.
You're a Halloweenie, yeah.
Yes.
Well, now we're trying to not get this into the rated R things too much, but fine.
Wow.
But they just have atmosphere, and again, it's the atmosphere that brings me back to that time period. I wonder, I watch these, oh boy, you go down YouTube rabbit holes, like I said, and you have people who their whole job is to like watch a movie and then watch their reaction to it. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that. It's so strange. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find myself watching someone I don't know watch Halloween for the first time, and I'm like, Andy, make better choices. But it's entertaining because they edit it down to like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But these people, they don't. They're so much younger and in such a different generation most of the time that they don't get into any of the things that somewhat they do. I mean, a good film will still stand out. Whatever. But I wonder what the average, teenager, if you'd show them Halloween in the theater right now, if they would cringe because it's gross and bad and awful, or cringe because they were scared? I don't know.
So what is now? It's like Saw, I guess. No,
Yeah.
I'm dating myself. That's
Yeah,
there's going to be a new Saw, but Saw. What are some other? But yeah, before Halloween, there weren't these franchises though either.
By the way, Saw X or whatever, Saw 10, I guess that means, came out. The
Jeez.
first one I never saw any of the other ones, but yeah, it's all about longevity, I guess,
I
for
tried to watch
money making.
For some reason, if I start something, this is a bone of contention with John and I, because I watch the dumbest things sometimes. But I get started on something and I want to see them all. I'm a completist.
Well,
So
except only Murders in the Building.
Well, no, I only watch one of those. But see, that's the thing. See, Randy, he doesn't understand my fear of commitment, because I'm like, if I have to watch all of these, but I might give that a try some more. But yeah,
Still, I do the same. I don't want to start a new franchise or anything. It's kept me away from many films and many TV shows. Everyone clamors about Yellowstone, whatever. I'm like, I'm not going to commit myself to Game of Thrones. I started way back then. I'm like, no, that's too much commitment.
Yeah, see, I walked away from multiple shows after watching part of them.
But then again, I've watched, all the Phantasm movies. I've watched, I don't know. But they're all the Hellraiser movies.
All the Soylent Green movies.
How many of those are there?
No, I'm just kidding. That's just wishful thinking.
Is that a Halloween movie?
Yeah, I can make an argument.
Sure.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, like that was 1974. That's had a lot of sequels and reboots.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen the first one.
1976. The Omen was 1976. I think they were into the devil stuff in the world then. They were scared of things. And Halloween was 1978. So it came on the heels of some pretty good shows, but nothing really with the stalker kind of killer element, I guess.
Well, what was his the name in the script was just The Shape or something like that, right?
Well,
or the Body.
No, I think it was originally going to be called like The Babysitter Murders.
Right.
So the guy wanted to make a low budget movie, thought, oh, we can do this show, basically the same show about babysitters getting killed. And Mustafa Akkad, who was the producer, went to the money, had a dream or thought, oh, you know what? If we could build it around like something like a holiday where that would make sense, it would be a big deal. So and he came up with a Halloween idea.
Perfect.
And yeah, and then they worked that into what they were already going to do, and that's how that took off. So it was going to just be another When a Stranger Calls, by the way, another great classic, not the remake, but the 77 or 78 one. 79.
I don't think I've seen that one either. I got to watch. Okay, so I got to watch When the Stranger Calls.
These are like on YouTube. When a Stranger Calls.
I know. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I haven't seen those.
Phil.
I know. I'm sorry. But I watched all the Phantasm movies.
Oh.
And all the Hellraiser movies. Even, some of those are terrible.
Yeah. So you like watching things that punish you?
Well, Hellraiser is about punishment, so fine.
The first 15 minutes of When a Stranger Calls is great. It's of the original with Carol Kane. Watch that one. That's on YouTube. You can watch the first 15 minutes.
Oh, what's another classic? The guy with the chainsaw hand, the cabin.
Wait, chainsaw hand?
No, yeah. Well, later. It was
Army of Darkness. You're talking
Army of Darkness was the third one, which I haven't seen yet.
Oh,
but no, the first two. Well, the second one was the remake of the first one. Whatever. What was that called?
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. Thank you.
Yeah,
I've not seen those.
Oh, see, you haven't seen the classic.
You know what? No, because I think I consider them, and I'm probably wrong, but I consider them to be in that like gory category.
They are.
I like the scariness, not so much the gore.
Oh no, you're right. They're gory, but
terrified me. There's not a lot of gore.
Cartoonishly gory.
No, it's gory comedy though. I would say, yeah, it's kind of Monty Python sort of. But
yeah. Everybody's wearing 50 squibs.
Yeah.
See, no, it does get over the top with all the blood. But
I'm sure it's all good. It just doesn't draw me in to like watch it. Like there's so many things that I'm sure are good, and when I watch them, I enjoy them. But I don't. It's hard to cross that bridge to get myself to actually hit play.
have you seen any of the newer ones like Jordan Peele or anything like that? Like he's getting into horror. Have you watched any of those?
Totally
Of course, I have
He's getting
watched the whole.
into it. He's done what?
I've watched all the Screams. I did not get it. I think like Signs from M. Night Shyamalan was probably the last like non-episodic killer show that I saw, or thriller. And Signs is like about aliens. That's again more of that mystique kind of thing.
Well, have you guys seen what one that's not at all in those categories, but it's like you could argue it's spooky, is the cult classic Carnival of Souls.
No, I want to watch that.
I think I've heard of that. I know I've heard of it.
It's this weird low budget. It's a little bit of a Twilight Zone style story.
Randy,
if you pick it up, it was made in the '60s, low budget, black and white, by this guy who mainly made industrial films, like for training films and shit like that.
How to line Keystone Light cans.
Yeah, it was probably he made one of those.
Trilogy of Terror is another one that I think you can probably find on YouTube. That was a TV movie, scary as heck. The third part.
Yeah.
All right. Carnival of Soylent Green. Is that I've had this on my list forever and I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah,
but,
Phil, you would dig it. I'm sure you would.
Is that about a carnival?
Not really. It's not about clowns and that kind of shit.
I might be thinking of another movie. There's another movie that has like
it's kind of a creepy black and white. It's kind of the original I See Dead People movie. How about that one?
Oh wow!
There's a movie, Phil. Are you thinking of Freaks?
Well,
no,
that's
I might be combining the two movies into a new one
from the 30s. Yeah, that's very different.
Yeah, that's not
No, the Carnival of Thrones. I think that would be a good one.
Carnival of Thrones.
Well, fine. Now what are you drinking? No, I'm just kidding.
Regret.
You regret being on here? We've enjoyed having you as a guest.
Well, I feel like this has been this is your life, and part me just espousing Halloween and horror movie facts. I don't know if the average person cares about either.
Welcome to our podcast. This is your life, Randy Grimsley.
Oh.
Born a young Catholic boy in a family of 20 in a small farm town of Volva, South Dakota. No.
Oh, I tune in.
Oh, yeah. Everybody in Volva had at least 20 kids.
I'm not from Volva.
He was involved. Sorry.
I know you weren't. There is no town of Volva, South Dakota, but there's a Pierre. All right.
There is.
Well, thank you, Randy.
Yeah, you know what? I appreciate the time that we spent together. I had time to lean.
Yeah, it was. And that's what it's all about, no matter what the subject. If you've got time to lean,
I really appreciate it. And if
you've got time to lean, you've got time for Halloween.
Hey!
Ooh, way to work that full circle moment.
Yeah, this is
it was great to meet you, Randy.
It was great to vocally meet you as well.
Right.
We'll get together someday and have some. Now, what was the beer I would in the old days? It was a little tiny mini Ponies green bottle. It wasn't Keystone Light. It was. And I would.
Okay.
So at the theater parties, I'd hold this little bottle and I'm a giant. I'm a lumberjack or whatever. So I don't know. It was.
That must have gone over like gangbusters.
Yeah, I never got the ladies with that one, but it was fun.
I was gonna try and work in a joke that I thought of that would be appropriate, but since it was all about drinking at the very beginning, but I never found an opportunity. But I'm going to still work it in,
I
which
might work
is
it in later with editing.
there you go. Let's see. No, save this. This is the topper.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
uh, what kind of drink do ghosts like? Booze. Good night, everybody.
Here's the song!
Time to leave Halloween from Rapid City to Aberdeen, from Minnesota to the Philippines. We're turning green, need Dramamine. Time to lean, time to lean, time to lean, time to lean. It's much scarier than a noisy ice machine. It's even scarier than polytetrafluoroethylene. Even scarier than a monitor that isn't widescreen. It's after 5 and darkness falls. The animals howl and nature calls. The spirits rise in search of booze. Spirits, drinking spirits, have nothing to lose. After the devil's cut and the angels share, now there's nothing left to spare. A moan from the kitchen at such a sight. John and Phil are out of whiskey tonight.